Welcome to another episode of 48 Minutes. We're on episode 3, and it's your boy Lito with the big guy, Joe.
That's me. Got the Phillies hat on today.
What's going
I'm
on,
ready to
Joe?
roll. Bryce
What's
Harper's our
good?
MVP.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Sixers. But before we talk about the Sixers, let's tell people the topics that we're gonna talk about right now, so they can tune in. We're gonna talk about Sixers, Suns, Lakers, the greatest shooter of all time, top 5, and then we're gonna do fast break as always. So let's dip in to the Sixers. Let's dip into the hot lava, all right? Because it's heating up over there. Joe, how are you feeling with this trade talk going on right now? They're saying that they're willing to trade Simmons, and they're waiting for another 2 weeks from now to trade him. Are you excited to get a new acquisition, new players in your rosters? How do you feel about this?
Well, this is all talk. I mean, obviously, everyone knows the Ben Simmons situation by now. That he finally showed his true colors. That yours truly, have been saying for years about the type of person that this guy is. So he finally showed his true colors, and it's time to get rid of him. We've been in this whole saga since the summertime. So I know that there's rumors this week, but until something actually happens, there's really no difference.
So I am a fan of Ben Simmons. I still believe in the kid or the dude.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, I still believe in him. And one of the person that believe in the dude and that wants him is your boy, Dame Dollar. So the realistic trade, if that is true, that might go down in Portland, if that does happen. If the Sixers agree to send Portland, you guys might get CJ McCollum. Right now, he's suffering a collapsed lung. He's going to be out who knows how long. But do you think if you guys get McCollum, would it be the perfect fit, the missing link to your roster?
I think the perfect fit and the missing link to our roster was DeMar DeRozan. That's what I think that should have happened. But people, for some reason, including Daryl Morey and the Sixers front office, they don't put any respect on that man's name. Like they thought that because he lost to LeBron James 7 straight times that he can't play basketball, which isn't true. So now DeMar DeRozan is balling in Chicago right now, got them up there, way up there in the standings, and we're sitting here like, wow, Pop wanted him. Pop wanted Ben Simmons. There's no reason why we couldn't have made that sign and trade like Chicago Bulls did. But here we are. As far as CJ McCollum, though, he's a jump shooter. He's pretty good, though. Like I like CJ. I like what he does. I like what he brings to the table. And I'm sure he'll be helpful to the team. But he's not DeMar DeRozan. And he's definitely not Damian Lillard or, Bradley Beal, one of the other guys that Daryl Morey was looking at. So, I mean, CJ would be a consolation prize, in my opinion. And I'm sure his jump shooting ability and his ability to make to get his own shot will be very helpful to the team. But we could have done better. And just because these are rumors out there doesn't mean that's what's going to actually happen. December 15th is the time where players who actually signed over this past season are eligible to be traded. So we're actually just now getting to the point where we're actually going to see who may or may not be available. And the media is definitely focusing on the whole Portland Trailblazers thing because they just fired their president or GM or whatever his title was in that team. So now everybody's like, okay, they're probably going to do some sort of rebuild. They're probably going to shuffle the roster a little bit. So that's why this is all coming around. But they may not be the only team that we may be able to get a deal done with. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, well, also to piggyback about DeRozan has the Bulls in second place right now. Only one game back from first. Yeah. So that's impressive.
You know I keep telling people? The Bulls have everybody who got Alex Caruso. They've got your boy Lonzo Ball. They have a squad that I enjoy watching. And I like the way they play basketball. I like the way that your old coach, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. OKC. So Scott Brooks. Not Scott Brooks.
Yeah, he's in there.
No, not Scott. Is it Scott Brooks?
Yeah.
I don't think it's Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks was the dude that was the coaching Donovan. That's his name.
Oh, Billy Donovan.
Yeah, Billy
They all
Donovan.
look
Scott
alike to
Brooks was
me.
the old coach.
Yeah,
See, that's what happens when you abandon your team,
Billy
when you abandon
Donovan. You're
OKC.
right.
You forget all about them, Lito. That's what you do.
No, because the high praise was with Scott Brooks, but yeah, Billy Donovan. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's got them playing really, really, really well.
yeah.
So I mean, I just wish that my team had been more thoughtful about the squad they were going to put together. But what are you going to do? We'll see.
Now let's talk about y'all recent gameplay. Y'all faced the Hornets back to back. The first game went to overtime. Y'all beat them by what 3 points, 127 to 124. Second game, you guys won by 4 points. The reason why I'm bringing this up, Hornets didn't have their team. They didn't have LaMelo. They didn't have key players, Rozier, and you guys was battling with them. Is there concern going on because y'all have a tight schedule coming up again? You guys got the Warriors, Miami. You guys got a tough road this month. So, are you concerned that y'all gonna keep dropping down or being in the middle of the pack in the playoff?
Well, every night in the NBA is a tough night. Now, this is a really tough league, especially now with the way the 3-point shot is. It's really easy for even if the team is down players. Because if you guys see, what you want to leave out is the fact that the Sixers spent 3 weeks in COVID protocol where we had nobody available pretty much for like 3 straight weeks. That's the reason why we're sort of at the bottom of the standings right now, because we had to kind of fight through that. But even when we were going through that, we were still a competitive team. There were times we were missing 4 starters, sometimes 5 starters, that we were still being competitive with the games that we were playing, because the 3-ball now and the way that the NBA goes, like teams can easily get back in the game. I think there's fewer blowouts now than there has been previously. I don't have any numbers on that, but I'm just guessing. It just seems like there's fewer blowouts these days in the NBA. So I don't.
What about
think
Memphis? Memphis and
that,
Hornets.
when they blew out
75.
Oh yeah, against your old team, OKC. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the blowout of the century. But I'm not particularly worried about it, just because between the Nets who are in first right now, as we sit here speaking today, and the Sixers who are in 7th place, I think right now we're in like 6th.
Yeah.
No, we're in 7th because we're in that whole bottom playing tournament thing right now. But there's only a 4-game difference. You know, we got like what 60 games to go, 50 games to go, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that at all. We can definitely get hot. I expect for us to do that after Christmas. But going back to the whole Hornets thing, like I was watching that game, and you were sitting there. I had just gotten off work. I wasn't even looking at my phone, and you're sitting there texting me through the whole game, just hating. The Sixers are trash. They're terrible. Blah blah blah. And we won the game. I'm like, yo, Lito, why don't you wait until the game's actually over before you start hating? You're such a hater. Why do you have to hate so much?
I'm impressed with the Hornets. How I mentioned that they were battling with y'all without LaMelo and without Rozier, and I was impressive. They almost had those both games. They almost had it. But before we move on,
too. But I want to just mention one thing too. Like we weren't at full strength either, because we were missing Tyrese Maxey in one of those games. I think we were missing Tobias Harris in the other one. So yeah. I mean, it's like these days in the NBA, it seems like everybody has COVID and everybody's going through things. People are missing a lot of games. So I feel like every night there's people who are missing on teams, and you still have to get it done. That's just the nature of professional sports.
Now, before we move on, because we got to talk about my Suns, I do want to bring up something real quick about the Sixers that, to me, I'm just going to rub it in your face. The last game you guys played was against the Utah Jazz, all right? And I always tell people, and I told you multiple times, that I think Rudy Gobert is better than Embiid. People laugh at me. People think I'm crazy, but I pick Rudy any day compared to Embiid because what Rudy brings to the table. Let me just read the stats of the game that you guys played. 19 points, Embiid. 9 rebounds. Rudy Gobert, 17 points, 21 rebounds, and got the W. Your thoughts, is Rudy better than Embiid? Are you finally going to admit that I'm right all along?
Let me throw a question back at you. Do you honestly think that I'm going to change my opinion about either one of these players based on one game? Because you're bringing the stats for one game, acting like that makes such a huge difference. There are 82 games per year in the NBA, like 82 games, right? And you're bringing one game that Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid played against each other to say, "Oh, Rudy is better than Embiid." That's the first thing. Second thing is that those two. I know you don't watch the Sixers. You don't even watch the Jazz that much. But those two rarely actually play each other. Over the past few years, most of the time, because we only play twice per year, most of the time when the Jazz play the Sixers, one of them isn't playing. Either Gobert's not playing or Embiid's not playing. And Embiid is just coming back from COVID, right? Like he's still struggling. He even said it. You probably don't know this either, but he even said it in his post-game interviews. Like before that 19-point game he had, and that was the second game of a back-to-back. He had like a 40-point game. It was like 40 points and like 20 rebounds and like 5 assists. He had an all-time great game for the Sixers. Like maybe the night before or the night before that, the game before that. One of those games against Charlotte. So he played very, very well. But then he's coming off COVID. It's the second of a back-to-back. Of course there's going to be a little bit of a drop-off. That's why you can't make your little hating proclamations just to try to prove a point based off of one game. The NBA is a league that changes from night to night. People are available from night to night. People are going through stuff from night to night. Things happen. So no, I'm not going to make any kind of proclamation about Joel Embiid or Rudy Gobert based off of one game.
I do know that it's only one game, but 82 games, Rudy Gobert has been the best defensive player. How many times now? Case closed. Case closed.
So that's something that's voted on like the writers and things like that, like the NBA writers. And there's a lot of there's a lot of people like you don't agree because they haven't been voting for your guy Devin Booker, right? Devin Booker hasn't made an All NBA team, right? Devin Booker can barely make the All-Star game, and who votes for that, right? So you're going to talk about me and about my guy. We can talk about that. That's who votes for it, right? But you don't agree with that, do you? What's the difference?
That's a good segue. That's a good segue. Let's talk about this.
A good segue to what? To me being right? Whatever, Lito. Let's talk about this Suns. How you feeling about them right now? Is Devin Booker, is he still injured right now, or is he back? Is he playing?
Yeah, he's still out. What's it
look like? Suns, when's he gonna be back?
They still haven't said it's daily, but as long as Devin Booker can rest and we continue to get these W's, I'm good. And
it's
the team is balling. Huh? Hamstring, right? Hamstring, yeah. It's basically day to day, but I think they should let him rest the whole month. Maybe come back on Christmas. That's what I would do. Play for the Christmas game. But let me just quote something when we talk about the Suns, and this is how I feel. And Nick Wright said it best. Until further notice, the Suns are the best team in basketball. Present moment, they're constructed perfectly. So that's all I got to say about the Suns right now. We have the best team from top to bottom. Our bench is lethal. They proved it last night against the Spurs. No Devin Booker once again. No Ayton last night. And we beat the Celtics. JaVale McGee.
The Spurs or the
Celtics? The Celtics, my bad. But our winning streak started with the Celtics again. We're on a winning streak again, too. We're 2 right now.
The Celtics are trash, though. So
yeah, but it's still impressive, man.
They still got Tatum. Trash. You measure yourself against trash after this?
They still got Tatum.
They still got Tatum. They're still
They got Horford.
Oh, my God. Really? You're just full of excuses today, Lito. You're usually better than
Marcus Smart. They got people over there, all right? But it's impressive,
right.
man.
JaVale McGee.
Don't.
Before you go, your little. The Suns are the greatest thing ever. The Celtics are injured too. Like there's not much you can really judge by one game. It's the same thing we're talking about with the Sixers. Every single night in the NBA, a team's going through something. Like the NBA, it's not a sprint; it is a marathon. So taking too much from one game is a bit much. Plus that whole Nick Wright thing. What is Nick Wright all of a sudden the authority on anything? Nick Wright says a lot of shit. And Nick Wright says a lot of shit that makes no sense and a lot of shit that's wrong. I will say, as far as right now, if we're just looking at, you are who your record is. And right now, I believe the Suns are first or second? One of them, right?
We're tied for first right now. We're tied for first.
Tied for first?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now, you are what your record is. So right now, you guys are the best team in the NBA, which is fine. But, things change. Things happen. Injuries happen. So don't get too excited about it. Don't get too happy. That little look on your face, that little look of satisfaction that you want to get.
Well, let me just say this. Last night against the Celtics, it was a collective unit. All right. McGee had 15 points, 21 rebounds. 21 points, 15 rebounds. Everybody was top double digits, everybody. And Chris Paul was holding down the fort. And I don't give a lot of credit to Chris Paul, but I do got to say this. these 2 games that we played, I give a lot of credit to Chris Paul and to Monty Williams, both of them. Monty Williams, because we only played 2 games and he selected to sit out all the players on practice. They did not practice for 2 games. And after that tough road that they did for 18 games winning streak, he gave them a break, that's what a good coach does. And he believed in the team, so he sat them out. And now coming back, Chris Paul being the captain that he is and just holding down these W's while Booker is sitting out. It's just another testament of how great a point guard.
Yeah, okay. We're done with this. We're done with you just going on of your whole little soliloquy about how great the Suns are, okay? That's not what we do here on 48 Minutes. Just let you talk about the greatness all the time. What happens here on this podcast is that I bring up shit that you said in the past to ask you about it when you be changing your mind about shit, right? So JaVale McGee, how you love to praise him right now. Remember when he played for the Warriors? And I used to tell you that JaVale McGee was one of those reasons, one of those bench guys that really helped them out in their title run. And you looked at me like I was crazy. Like, this Shaq in the full MVP. Like, what are you talking about, Joe? And now that JaVale McGee is on your team, all of a sudden, oh, he's great. He's just what we needed. So now you're changing your tune, right?
No, hold on. I never hated on McGee, never.
What? No, you hated on McGee. Don't lie to me. No. I used to tell the voice of reason, our previous podcast, I say it all the time. JaVale McGee, he is a good player. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know why he's always stacking the fool, but he is actually a good role player. He's a good rotation player. He's a good big man. I say that all the time. And you're like, oh, really? JaVale McGee, Joe? Really? He's the guy? Really? So what you got to say now, Lito?
Well, he's the guy for my team, all right? But he ain't better than Ayton. And listen, once again, I'm going to remind people, pay Ayton, all right? That's all I got to say about that. Pay Ayton. Don't get discouraged, the owner, and fell in love with now McGee because he had a great game. And, well, he's a great bench player, but not a starter. That's my opinion with McGee. He's a great bench player, but not a starter.
And every single time that you say that, this whole pay Ayton thing, I'm going to just say it to you again. What was JaVale McGee's numbers last night? Can you tell me that one more
15 points, 15 rebounds, and 21 points.
15 rebounds and 21 points. So would you pay JaVale McGee $180 million, $20 million for that?
No.
Would you? Okay.
Not McGee.
So why you want to pay Ayton that? Like JaVale McGee can do exactly what it is that DeAndre Ayton is doing. JaVale McGee. You just saw that last night. You want to make declarations off of one game? Let's talk about that then. Like why if you're sitting in a Phoenix front office, you're looking at what somebody like JaVale McGee can do. Why are you just like saying, yeah, I want to pay this guy DeAndre Ayton $200 million? There are other 7 foot tall big men that can do what DeAndre Ayton does. Other people can set screens for Chris Paul. It doesn't have to be just him.
Yeah, I do know that. But what Ayton has, the basketball skill set that he has, is superb than McGee. McGee, what he does is his athleticism, his wingspan, his rebound, his tipping. That's incredible.
He's 7 feet tall.
Put him in the post and make him do work like Ayton does. The thing is, the Suns don't utilize Ayton how he's supposed to be utilized. They use him to the benefit of Chris Paul, but not to the benefit of Ayton. When the Suns figure out that,
he's 7'5".
Yeah, I know that. But I'm saying,
so I mean, like height, you can't teach that. That's what I'm saying. He's 7'5". Of course, you expect him to be in the post doing that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying with Ayton is he does the mid-range game. I know eventually he'll do the 3-point game. Like he can knock him down. So it's just the development of Ayton. Plus, he's younger. The development of Ayton, the skill set that he can reach, if the Suns allow him to, is going to be superb. So don't disrespect
before Chris Paul got there, though, like he was doing all the other stuff that you were talking about and it wasn't working. Chris Paul got there, told him where to be, told him where to stand, told him what to do, and now all of a sudden it's working. Like he looks like a better player now.
Did you forget that we went 8-0 in the bubble before Chris Paul got there? 8-0.
We went 8-0 in the bubble. That's great. Did you make the playoffs?
So, and Monty, I'm telling you, the day that they decide to pay Ayton, I'm gonna say you're welcome. I told you so. All right.
And the day they decide to pay Ayton, I'm going to tell you that ruins your team's ability to improve your team. And you're paying this 7 foot tall dude, $200 million for shit that you can get to somebody else. But I want to ask you one more thing before we move on, though. So
Yeah.
there has been an investigation by the NBA into the Suns front office and the Suns ownership about racism and hostile workplace and misogyny and sexism and all that stuff. And the things that have come out have been really, really bad for them as a team and them as a workplace. Do you think that's going to have any sort of impact on the players on the floor or the coaching staff? Like what was actually going on? Because actually was just said this week that they're interviewing employees from the Suns from now and also in the past who were actually forced to sign non-disclosure agreements based on everything that was kind of going on with the owner of the Suns. So what do you think is going to happen with that? Do you think it's going to actually affect your team?
No, I don't think so. The reason why I say that, and once again, I gotta praise Chris Paul, the point God. All right, I gotta praise him. He's been there before with the Donald Sterling. He's gonna put his leadership in effect, and the thing is, Suns are on a mission to go back to the finals. They have proved it this year by having the best record in the NBA right now, tie. They're on a mission to go back and prove the world that they deserve to win. And the Giannis thing was just a lucky thing. Just a lucky thing. All right. Like, I think that Suns are just too good right now. They're too focused. They're well coached, and they'll be back in the finals, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that they'll probably be okay. I think you're right about Chris Paul that he has in the situation before, so that he could be a pretty good leader as far as in a situation. But also too, it might force them to sell the team. So you never know, just like it did with Donald Sterling. And who knows what's going to happen with that? That could actually cause quite a few issues going in the future. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
And speaking of issues, the Lakers, my goodness, that is a big issue. They are
Not for me. I don't care, but hey, let them struggle.
they are struggling. I do want to read this quote that Charles Barkley put out there. He said, "In my opinion, I blame Anthony Davis. You're supposed to be in your prime. You're supposed to be in your prime, one of the best 5 players in the world, and you can't get it done. And now you want to fire Frank Vogel. The rumor is, what you think is going on in the Lakers? We talked about it. On the first episode, I think it was, how they keep being up and down. But do you think they're gonna make the playoff? Like, what you think is going on over there, man? Are they gonna fire Frank Vogel?
Well, first I want to address that whole Charles Barkley thing. Now I think it's weird. Like with AD, I don't know if AD is completely healthy at any point in time. He always has injuries. He always has problems. So I don't know if maybe he's going through something that we're not sure about. But I do kind of agree. He's not taking control of the team as like that franchise player that he should be. He's not being the leader, I don't think, that he should be, at least not on the floor. So I mean, he can definitely play better. I think they all can, but I think part of it is that when you're assembling a team like this from people who are used to being alphas on other teams, and then you bring them all together to try to figure it out, just like with LeBron his first year with the Heat. You're trying to figure out who's going to take the lead, what kind of offense we're going to play, our defensive rotations and assignments. There's a lot that goes into that. And that's why they're considering firing Frank Vogel, because you need a coach that can bring that together quickly, especially since LeBron James doesn't have much time left. I mean, it's obvious now. He's been playing well the past few games, but Father Time is catching up. He's been injured over the past few years more than his entire career. And a lot of that is just miles on his body.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I thought Anthony Davis, I agree with you. I thought Anthony Davis, after winning the championship in the bubble, and if they don't win another championship, we definitely gonna call that the bubble championship. Like, it doesn't have no merit, because if Anthony, after, I mean, it does have merit. They still won and all that, but
come on,
yeah,
man.
It counts. But what I'm saying is, Anthony, after winning the championship, he didn't took another leap. It looked like he's slowing down. Like, I don't see the passion in him wanting to win or wanting to be better or wanting to be best. I see an average player now. Like, I Lakers don't scare me. Like, come playoff time, if they do make the playoff, don't scare me. You talked about LeBron. Father Time is kicking in, and it is, and it will eventually. But my goodness, his last 5 games, it was impressive for a almost 37-year-old guy. He dropped 39 points, 30, 33, 23, 30, and almost all of them close to triple doubles. Like, we have never seen somebody that old do this, and it's impressive. Or have we? We haven't seen anybody.
I don't know. Karl Malone was pretty old doing some great stuff.
Nah, man. Don't disrespect what LeBron is. I don't even like LeBron.
I'm not disrespecting anything. I'm just saying that Karl Malone, he won MVP at like age 36 or something like that. He was pretty up there. That's all.
Yeah. So do you think?
Well, no, hold on. I want to just address something that you said because I find that very interesting.
They don't
about
scare
the
me.
whole, huh?
They don't scare me.
About the whole Anthony Davis thing. About how you're saying that after he won the championship, it seems like he doesn't have the same passion he had before. And you know, a lot of that, there is so much money in the NBA. And there's just so much fame and so much fortune and so much other stuff. It is really easy for guys to start believing their own hype. It's really easy for guys to lose that passion and to only be focused on that part of the lifestyle or that part of the life once they actually get it and lose their passion for winning. A lot of these guys don't have that mom mentality. So that brings me to an interesting point. I'm glad that you can see that in Anthony Davis, yet somehow you can't see that in Ben Simmons. I don't understand. Like it's really the same thing, right? Like Ben Simmons isn't interested in winning. He's not interested in championships. He's not interested in making himself better. All he wants is the life. He wants the money. He wants the cars. He wants the Kardashians. That's all he wants. So you're kind of saying that AD's kind of going through the same thing, right? But you can see that there, but you can't see that with Ben. What's up with that?
Now, you know what? Let's move on. All right.
No. Like every time I make a good point, your whole thing is let's move on. We ain't just going to move on. You don't answer the question. What's up with that?
No. Well, Ben Simmons is not playing, so we don't know what type of Ben Simmons we're seeing again.
We know exactly what type of Ben Simmons hasn't changed.
Last year, Ben Simmons, he was one of the greatest defender, was almost named Defensive Player of the Year, or was top 3? He had to be. So that's an impressive achievement right there. The thing with Anthony Davis, we expect more from Anthony Davis. I'm just going to keep talking about Anthony Davis.
Okay. So basically just tell the people that you have no answer for it. Just be honest with the people. Be honest.
He's not playing.
You're supporting the guy. You're supporting the guy who's going through the same thing that you're trashing Anthony Davis for.
Yes, he is doing this. Okay. He is doing the same thing. He is. Mm-hmm. But we have to see what happens when he goes to a new team. Okay. If he's going to play better or decrease.
Let's see what happens. He's going to play exactly the same. That's what he's going to do. I'll put money on that right now. I'll put Christmas money on that right now. Like right now, he's going to play exactly the same.
Let me just say something about Frank Vogel, though. Frank Vogel, he is a good coach, but he's not the coach for this team. I think they need my guy, your guy, to coach this team that holds players accountable, are not afraid of yelling at them and benching them when they're doing knuckleheads play. Russell Westbrook. That coach.
I knew you abandoned Russ. I knew you did.
That coach is Mark Jackson. I think Mark Jackson could do it. I think Mark Jackson could be a great coach. The team is also, they need to make some move. I'm not sold on this team. They need shooters. They don't have shooters in this team, and that's why they're suffering. They're what right now?
I mean, I agree with you.
6th place right now.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you that they probably do need a new coach, but not for the reason that you said. I mean, they have guys they have Hall of Famers, right? They have Rondo, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Carmelo, LeBron, Dwight Howard, all Hall of Famers, right? AD will probably make the Hall of Fame. I'm sure I'm missing some. Russ, first ballot, no question, one of the greatest ever, Hall of Famer, right? So I don't think that the problem is that they're not motivated or that they need somebody to ride their ass. They need somebody that's going to actually figure out how to put it all together. They need a coach that's going to be good with the X's and O's, that's going to be able to have an offense in there that's going to be able to allow them to put it together. That's what they really need. They don't need a hard ass. They don't need a Tibbs. They don't need a Mark Jackson. They need somebody that's going to actually coach them.
But didn't Mark Jackson put together the Warriors, and then the Warriors just gave it to Steve Kerr?
No, Mark Jackson, when he was doing the whole thing with the Warriors, he wanted them to play his way. Like he's not Mark Jackson is more of an old school type dude. Like he would not have coached a team that's going to put up 40 or 50 threes a night, like the Warriors can do now. Steve Kerr is the one that walked in there and said, "I have at least two of the best shooters that have ever laced up a pair of sneakers, so we're just going to let it go." We're going to he was the one that brought in more of that motion offense, and he's the one that actually made it work. But one thing I want to actually
hold on, I gotta defend Mark Jackson. I'm sorry, I gotta defend Mark Jackson.
I like Mark Jackson. Yeah,
Mark Jackson was the guy that was saying that these two, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, are the best backcourt in the NBA and will be the best backcourt. So Mark Jackson saw what nobody was seeing at the time because he was there in the trenches.
I'm not, but you're right about all that. I'm not saying that he didn't see it. But when you're a coach, you have to actually utilize that to the best of your ability, which he obviously didn't. Because the next year, Steve Kerr walked in there and was like, you know what? We're going to do more of a motion offense to what the Pacers used to run back in the day with Reggie Miller. If you look at what the Warriors do, that's what they do. They do a similar style of offense of what Reggie Miller did, where it's a whole bunch of screens, a whole bunch of movement, a whole bunch of player and ball movement, and a whole bunch of shots. So that's what they're doing. But Mark Jackson never did that. Mark Jackson was more of an old school type guy. So yes, he did recognize how great of a backcourt that they were, but he didn't actually utilize an offense that was going to make the best of that. So that's what Steve Kerr did. That's why Mark Jackson is commentating games, and Steve Kerr is going to the Hall of Fame.
Wow, the disrespect.
That's different.
The disrespect.
Not disrespect anybody.
Wow.
Now, look, I'm just being honest. But you know what, Lito? It is time for our rapid fire question and answer fast break segment, where we ask each other a series of questions and we just give pretty quick answers to it. Not enough time for us to argue, but maybe a little bit later we will. We'll see. All right.
I'm still mad about Mark Jackson, but go ahead.
Hey, you be mad about him. It's okay. He's mad too. Mark Jackson is mad about the whole Warriors thing too. It ain't just you. But here's your first question, right? Is Donovan Mitchell better than Ben Simmons? And remember, they were both competing for that whole Rookie of the Year.
I still take Ben Simmons, so no. Ask me next year, and I'll probably say Mitchell, but I still say Ben Simmons. I like his game style better.
Hey,
damn, the hate on Ben Simmons. God, you're hating today. Mark Jackson, Ben Simmons, Anthony Davis.
I'm being honest.
Rumor is Zion Williams is close to 300 pounds right now. Do you think, after all the injuries and the in and outs and now his weight gain or whatever, do you think Zion Williams could be the biggest NBA bust we ever seen in the NBA?
I don't know about the biggest. I feel like that's always going to be like, Sam Bowie, who the Portland Trailblazers took over Michael Jordan, or Greg Oden, who the Portland Trailblazers took over Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I think those two will pretty much have that title for, ever. But yeah, Zion, it's not looking great for him. He needs to figure that out. I don't know. He needs to figure that out. I can't really give any advice other than you got to figure this out.
No.
But will Klay Thompson come back playing as well as Kevin Durant did?
No. He's gonna Kevin. I don't think so, because Klay Thompson, besides him being a good shooter and a great shooter, actually,
and a great defender too.
Yeah, that's the key. He's a great freaking defender, and I don't think his defense is gonna be to that level after 1 year coming back, or a year and a half, right?
It's been like
almost two. Yeah, almost two. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think he's gonna do well shooting, but defending, nah, I don't think so. And speaking of Chris God, all right, point God. I can't even say it right.
Because you're not used to saying it, you're used to hating.
I know. It's Chris Paul. Let's be honest. Is Chris Paul the greatest point guard the Suns ever had? Is he better than Steve Nash? Because to me, it's Steve Nash still.
No. Steve Nash is the best point guard that the Suns have ever had. He's one of the best point guards that has ever actually been in the NBA. So that's a no for me. So the other night, Trae Young and KD got into a little bit. They had a game. I think it was actually last night. They actually had a game. They were getting into a little bit. Does Trae Young have a shot at beating KD in a fight?
Yeah, anybody could beat Kevin Durant at this point. You know why?
What? What?
You know
Wow.
why? Because Trae Young doesn't have multiple social media hittings account. That's why. He's real. He's
Whatever.
real. Goran Dragic, he wants to join the Dallas Mavericks via trade or buyout. He's currently in Toronto. If you don't know, Goran Dragic, if he goes to the Dallas Mavericks, do you think Dallas Mavericks can compete in the playoff, make some noise?
I didn't know that Goran Dragic was still alive. I know he was still in the United States. I thought he was back in Poland or whatever Eastern European country he comes from. You mean to tell me he still plays basketball?
Yeah, he's in.
I had no idea.
Toronto.
I had no idea. To answer your question, no, absolutely not. Like, what difference does Goran Dragic make? Like, really?
All
okay, sure. So will Steve Kerr, and just to let you know, he just became the new coach of USA Basketball. So will Steve Kerr do a better job than Pop for USA Basketball?
Ooh. Damn. That's a good one. And I hate on Pop, but I know how great Pop was and is. Well, you know what? Let me say was, because he's not is now. But I don't think so. Actually, he can. Come on, he will. Steve Kerr will do all right. He will. He'll be all right. Now, speaking of best records, we talked about right now the Suns and Warriors are tied for the best records in the NBA. Who do you think eventually will finish with the best record? Is it Brooklyn? Is it Jazz? Is it Suns? Or is it Warriors? Or hell, I can even put Chicago Bulls. They're right there too. Who do you think will finish?
I don't know. It's all pretty close right now. I have no idea, and there's too much to like. We have too much season left. There could be injuries. COVID has been running wild through the entire NBA this year. I have no idea. I mean, if I were to guess based on today, I would say Bulls, Warriors, or Suns. I would say one of those teams, but it's too early. Too many things change between now and then. Will Anthony Edwards be the best player from his draft class?
Yes, potential. I just don't like where he's at. Like Minnesota, that's not a good franchise team. Look Towns. Look what's going on with Towns. Like they haven't made the playoff. No, I don't think so. But my last question to you. I've been jinxing myself, I think. All right. I keep saying every episode I've been saying it's the Spurs gonna make the playoff. All right. Currently, right now, the Spurs are only one game back from the play-in tournament. Do you think the Spurs can make the playoff? This is a legit question now.
Are you going to ask me this every single week?
Well, I have to. There's only one game back.
You don't have to. You don't
one
have
game
to.
back.
It's insane. What place are they in right now?
They're, like I said, one game back. So that means they're in 11 or 12.
Exactly?
They're tied for 12, one game back.
Okay, you're talking about for the play-in tournament?
Yeah, 10. You get in 10.
So yeah, this answer is not going to change for the rest of the season.
All right,
the
well,
Spurs,
I'm done.
even if they get into the playoff, into the play-in tournament, they're not going to win it. Like they're not making the playoff. They're just not good enough this year. I mean, unfortunately, I do like the Spurs though. Ginobili, that was my boy. I do like the Spurs, but there's no way. All right, that was a great fast break topic. But now it's time for us to move on, Lito. So you know that your boy, my boy, our boy, Stephen Curry is about to break Ray Allen's record for total three-pointers, right? Like total career three-pointers. And he's doing it in like 500 fewer games than Ray Allen did. So I thought this would be a good time now that we're on like the cusp of him doing this for us to talk about who we think are the greatest shooters in the history of the NBA. So what do you think? And this is not just about three-point shooters, Leo. It's about shooters in general. I mean, because the three ball has only been a huge deal in the NBA the past 10, 15 years. But before that, it wasn't really as big. But what do you think? So who do you have as your greatest shooters and why?
So this is not 3-point only, right?
No. It's shooters. I mean, because we can't do 3-point only because
I gotta take one
that's
out.
That's only been a huge deal for the last 10, 15 years.
I'm gonna take one out because I have Ray Allen, and I'm gonna take him out actually. So now my list, So I'm gonna take Ray Allen out and put Klay Thompson over him because Klay Thompson his mid range is good too. So I'm gonna put Klay. So then I have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Reggie Miller, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kevin Durant. I still got to put Kevin Durant in there.
Oh wow. Okay. So is that any particular order or?
My order. Okay. It's Steph Curry first. I got to put him in there. Unfortunately, I'm gonna put Kevin Durant second, Klay Thompson third, Dirk Nowitzki fourth, and Reggie Miller fifth.
Wow, look at you. And you didn't even really watch Reggie Miller like that either.
Yeah.
I'm really legitimately surprised that you put Reggie Miller on that list. Like, what made you do that?
Yeah, I thought it was 3-point, but I'm gonna keep him in there. I thought we were only doing 3-point shooters, but I put Reggie Miller in there because he was clutch as well. He was a good shooter. But if I have to think right now, I put Devin Booker over him. But anyway, I'm gonna keep Reggie
So
Miller.
now you're taking him out and putting Devin Booker in. You know, you look dog jacked up. You know that, right?
If I can, I know. But I like my list. I'm gonna leave it that way. Actually, I'm gonna leave it like that.
Let me ask you this though, because I mean, people don't probably know this, but you have really not been a fan of Steph Curry, like for pretty much his whole career. But you're putting him number one on your list though. So my question is like, why do you not like Steph Curry? What is your issue with Steph?
I don't like his playing style. Just like James Harden. Listen, James Harden was my guy. I can't appreciate their playing style. I know Steph Curry, he can shoot the ball, but what else can he give you besides shooting the ball and making great plays? That's all he got. Wow. His defense is not good. His length is not good. He doesn't rebound well for a guard or a point guard.
Dude.
He doesn't.
Dude.
He's not a great defender. He doesn't rebound well. Mm-hmm. The best man, he doesn't guard the best player every time either. But he's a great shooter. He's a great passer. He's a great leader. Other than that, what else can he bring? You know what? I'm gonna say something bold right here, top of my head. I think Chris Paul is better than Steph Curry. Like, I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh no, Steph Curry's the man. Steph Curry's the best." I picked Chris Paul over Steph Curry any day.
The only reason why you're saying that is because Chris Paul plays for your team. Because before,
even before, when he was with Houston,
20 minutes ago, all you used to say was that Chris Paul was overrated. He's terrible. He's not as good as anybody would say. You will only hate on Chris Paul. This opinion is literally 20 minutes old.
Can I bring another player?
You're not going to lie to these people.
Russell Westbrook is still better than Steph Curry. Still better because of what he brings to the game, what he does, rebound, defense. Russell Westbrook can defend. Like, he's not
How often do you watch Warriors games?
I think I watch more than the Sixers. I watch Warriors more than the Sixers because I want them to lose.
Because you don't ever watch the Sixers.
No, especially when I watch them in the playoff a lot. I know that. I watch all their playoff games because I watch every game in the playoff. So I watch them a lot. Okay. And this season, I'm watching them a lot because I want them to lose for the Sixers to get the Suns to get the number one seed. And so I've been watching them.
Well, let me tell you, I just want to kind of interject here. All right, as far as what else that Steph Curry actually brings to his team, the fact that he can shoot from the parking lot helps out the rest of his teammates. That's the first thing. Like, just his ability to spread the floor and to get a shot from anywhere on the court, being doubled and triple covered, that right there helps out the entire franchise. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is that new arena that the Warriors have, that is the house that Steph Curry built. All right, that arena is like $2 billion. That is the house that Steph Curry built. Third thing I'm gonna say is that he is a much better defender and rebounder than you give him credit for. If you watch him, and I agree with you, before like the last couple of years, he was not a good defender at all. But over the past couple of years, you can tell he's actually put on muscle. He's put on a little bit of weight to his frame, and he's become a much better defender. He's been a better team defender and on-ball defender. You can look at the numbers, you can look at the stats, you can listen to Nick Wright, who maybe have said that too. You know, but yeah, he's gotten much better at that. Also, those final series that Kevin Durant had with them, where, you know, KD was obviously the MVP because he's one of the greatest players.
Gave him 2 rings. Say it right. He gave him 2 rings.
He gave him 2 rings. Yeah. And in those two final series, Steph Curry nearly averaged a triple-double. He was averaging about 8 or 9 rebounds in both of those series. So he's just better at those things than what you're giving him credit for. And I understand what you're talking about. Like, and I'm not even trying to come down too much on you, because just the fact that you have Steph Curry on your list, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Shooting, we're talking about shooting.
I feel like you're making progress here. Because this was 2 years ago, you would be sitting here trying to tell me why Steph Curry doesn't belong on the list.
Before you reveal your list, because I want to hear your list too. I do want to say shooting, Steph is there. He's there. That's obvious. But to piggyback what you be hating about Ben Simmons, that when it's playoff time, it's 5 against 4 in playoff time. Same thing you could say about Steph Curry. 5 against 4 on the defensive end. People abuse Steph Curry in playoff time when it matters. They post him up because he doesn't know how to defend. He's too little. And that's my problem with Steph Curry. I'll tell you what, if Steph Curry can defend like a good defender, then he's one of the greatest. Like, he's one of the greatest. But no, he's not.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. The man went to 5 finals. He won 3 championships. Like,
yeah,
right now, they did not. Oh my God! Nobody. Listen.
Thank you for hiding him.
We don't have much time here. Okay, we're not going to overtime today. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to say, anybody who's watching this, they know you're crazy right now. What you're saying.
All right.
But that's not here nor there. My list: Steph Curry number 1, Reggie Miller number 2, Larry Bird number 3, Kevin Durant number 4, Dirk number 5. Our lists are very, very similar. What I will say is that I do have Steve Nash as a special mention, because I feel like if Steve Nash had actually shot more, he might be number 1 or 2. He might be the Steph Curry that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So I just wish that that D'Antoni would have had Steve Nash do a little bit more, and he'd be higher up on that list.
So we got the same list except Reggie and Bird, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
So your list is better, because I agree. Bird, of course, Bird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey, look at that. See, we're actually ending a podcast agreeing on something, Lito. What's the last time that's ever happened? Like, we are ending a podcast right now saying Larry Bird is the fucking man. I love that. I love to see. I love when the plan comes together, man. Yeah. But look, we had another great episode here. It is time for us to turn out the lights, like you used to say.
That's right.
We didn't need any overtime tonight, so this is great. So signing off, this is Jim.
It's your boy Lito. Steph Curry sucks.
Don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube, also on Facebook. Y'all have a great day.